He is also said to be carrying out orders given to them by the dominions and to bequeath blessings to the material world. Their task is to oversee groups of people. They are educators and guardians of the realm of the earth, like beings related to the world. They're said to inspire living things to many things, such as arts and sciences. Principalities are the leaders of the last order and direct the actual implementation of God's will. Two more. Archangels. Now here's the thing. Some people say there's Archangel, which is one, Michael the Archangel, but some people have said that they believe that there were seven, and that Lucifer was one of the seven archangels. That the archangels would be Michael, would be Gabriel, and several other that are mentioned in some of the other books that are not in the Bible. The word archangel comes from Greek, meaning chief angel, a translation of the Hebrew. It derives from the Greek, meaning to be the first in rank or power, which means messenger. The word is only used twice in the New Testament, in 1 Thessalonians and in Jude. Only archangels like Michael and Gabriel are mentioned by name in the New Testament. And then number 9, angels. Guardian, ministering angels. They're the lowest order of angels and the most recognized and the most concerned with the affairs of living things. In this category of angels, there are many different kinds with different functions. Archangels and angels actually carry out and execute what is to be done. They are the messengers to mankind. That is why angels such as Gabriel are the choir sent to communicate with man. All right, so angels are created beings. And there's not just one kind of angel. There are multiple kinds of angels. And some of them look like what we've pictured. Some of them look like nothing like we've pictured. And some of them I don't even think they could really describe, because I'm not sure we have the mental palette with which to make all that happen. Let's go back. Lucifer, otherwise known as Satan, Lucifer was one of the heavenly angels. As a matter of fact, he was over the worship team in the throne room. His job was to aim worship at the Most High God. Unfortunately for him, one day he thought, I'd kind of like a little bit of that. I'm always deflecting it over to him. Maybe I deserve a little bit of that. And you can find that God refers to Lucifer as the son of the morning. How does that sound to you? Does it sound horrific? Does that sound horrible? Ooh, the son of the morning. He was beautiful. I think I've got a slide of this. Okay, that's Lucifer. Now, maybe that's what he looks like. I don't know. But when we see him in the movies, what does he look like? He looks horribly grotesque and he was an angel of light. That's the reason he can make sin look so darn appealing. If sin really looked like how it's going to turn out, and he looked really how his heart is, nobody would be drawn to him. Nobody would go, oh man, that looks really good. I'm going to go over and I'm going to go face down in that bucket of slop. It looks just so good. But he was an angel of light, and so he has the ability to make things look really, really pleasing. So angels are created beings. They did have a beginning. God is the only thing that doesn't have a beginning and won't have an ending. Now you and I, we have a beginning, but we don't have an ending. Angels, they have a beginning. They don't have an ending. We were built to go on into eternity. And so are angels. So when the morning sun was thrown out, he took 1/3 of the angels with him. Now, I don't know that anybody can tell us for sure. If you got a third of this kind and a third of this kind and a third, okay, every third person took. No, there were obviously a group of these supernatural beings who followed him, who left with him. Those are the people those are the created beings that hell was designed for. Hell was not designed for humans, but we are going to see some humans go there. So that third, they left. When they left, they lost certain things, but they regained other certain things. They still have some power. It's said that angels are not everywhere at all times. One angel can't be all places at all times. The only one who can do that is God. He is the only one who can be everywhere at one time. But they can move really fast. We watched this video of, it's out of China, about a guy on a bicycle and a truck almost hits him, and you see this flash, and then all of a sudden you see that other. Now they say it's fake. It's not. Sally says it's not fake. But here's the thing, even if that one's fake, angels can do that. God can do that. God can literally pick up somebody from one spot and move them to the other spot. How many of y'all have ever, you look back and you go, how did that not kill me? How did that not hurt me? How did that not, why am I not dead? On our birthday? I've told this story before, but Sally and I, we'd gone up to Bowling Green, and I was going to get a truck and all this other stuff. And I just, all of a sudden, there was a semi-truck flying by. It was a 2-lane road, but for that one split second, it was a 3-lane road. I promise you, I should not be here right now. My guardian angel got really, really thin that day. We just, he probably after that is like, hey, I want to be reassigned. This dude cannot drive. I'd like to go somewhere else. Those angels can do that kind of thing, and they are there to help us, and they watch over us. So the angels who have fallen, they have certain abilities, they have certain strengths, they have certain powers, but they have lost their authority, and they've also lost some of their edge. Here's why I say that. Because when we read it in Revelation, how many angels does it take to throw the Antichrist into the lake of fire? How many angels does it take? Just the one. And it's not in any rank. It's not like Michael the Archangel, and he took a lot of, he took some really super powerful stuff, and he took his underdog pill, and he mustered up. It's like, you almost get the picture of him walking over and going. Because when you lose your fellowship with God, you lose the power that goes with that fellowship. So yes, they have power, but they don't have the kind of power that our God has, and they don't have the kind of power that our angels who are faithful to God are supposed to are. Okay, so in Isaiah 14, Lucifer, the son of the morning, attempting to be above God, and he is cast down. In Psalm chapter 8, verses 4 and 5, it says that we were made a little lower than the angels. Okay, but don't feel bad about that. Because here's the thing, even though we're a little bit lower than the angels, guess what we've experienced that angels will never experience? The redemption of God. Him looking at you and saying, come back. See, the angels, the third of the angels that went away, including Lucifer, they will never know the forgiveness of God. They'll never know that redemption. But you and I are living it. That's pretty cool. So it's okay. Again, I don't want to become an angel. I don't want to get transferred to the angel because I think it'd really be cool to have wings and all that stuff. I'm not ever going to be an angel. You're not ever going to be an angel, and it's okay. It's going to be fine. And then in Revelation 19, 9 and 10, it clearly says that we're not supposed to worship angels because John, in his vision, he begins to fall down at the angel's feet, and the angel goes, whoa, get back up, buddy. You don't worship me. We work together, and we work for him. And we know the scripture where it says, whose side are you on? It says, no, the question is not whose side am I on. I'm on the Lord's side. The question is, whose side are you on? So the angels come together with us. And at God's command, at God's direction, they minister to us. They minister for us. They guard against us. I know that there was two different stories that are incredible that I've read over the years. One of them was about a young woman who was walking through a particularly bad section of town, and this guy, he had every intention of stopping her, of robbing her and harming her. And somehow later in the course of about a month, he ended up at the church that she was working at. He got saved, and he felt the need to confess to her, I saw you on the street one day, and I was gonna rob you, but because of those two really big guys on either side of you, I just decided it wasn't worth it. And she's like, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. And then there was a missionary, and he would go back and forth in the village, and he would always have all the supplies with him. And so this group of villagers came to rob him in the middle of the night. And the report came back that they realized that with all those men, we didn't realize you traveled with that many big men. It's like, what? I was alone. No, we're never alone. And you know, when maybe we could pray, God, would you open our spiritual eyes so that we could see the mighty army that is in front of us? And even then, we would be kind of freaked out. Because it's probably a lot of those like floating spheres and, you know, and a couple of things that we're not even sure, what is that? It's an angel, it's okay, it's all good. All right, so I wanted to say that because there is some misconception about, you know, well, when somebody dies and they become an angel, or, you know, every time a bell rings. That's not exactly how it works. God created angels. Some of them fell away. God created man. All of them fell away. And he sent his son, Jesus Christ, so that they could be redeemed. And he would love for all of them to be redeemed. But you have to make that, you have to take that step. You have to accept that salvation. You have to accept that redemption. And how did he do all that? Well, he did that through the baby, Jesus. There's a beautiful story, and it's one of those sad stories, and it's got the little music playing behind it. And it's all about the guy who lived out on the farm, and his wife was saying, honey, please come to church with us. It's Christmas Eve. Come to church with the family. No, I don't believe in that junk and all this. And so they leave, and it's snowy, and it's cold, and all these birds keep trying to get into his house because it looks warm, and he thinks, I'll go and I'll open the barn, and they'll fly in there and they'll be warm. Because he wasn't a hard-hearted guy. And he opened the door, or they wouldn't fly in. They kept trying to fly into the house. And, you know, and then he put food on the ground, and he, you know, and finally he thinks to himself, man, if only I could be a bird for like a day. I could go up and talk to these birds and say, hey, come get in the barn, you idiots, and get warm. And then it hit him. That's exactly what Jesus had to do for you and I. He had to say, you know what, I want to become one of those birds for a little while because I want to show them this is how you walk, this is how you live, this is how you are redeemed. And he did that for us. And so let's look at the story, and we'll go from there. So if you take your Bible and turn to the book of Luke, the Christmas story is in several of the Gospels. And if you take a little bit out of Luke and a little bit out of Matthew, you can get the whole picture. Of course, we know that Luke was a doctor, so Luke tends to give a little bit more detail. He was charting the whole time. John, he was charting the whole time. He hadn't yet gone to digital, though. He was having to write the whole thing. That earlier conversation we were having. So Luke chapter 1, verses 5 to 20. In the days of Herod, king of Judea, there was a priest named Zacharias of the division of Abijah, and he had a wife from the daughter of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. They were both righteous in the sight of God, walking blamelessly in all the commandments and requirements of the Lord. But they had no child. Because Elizabeth was barren, they were both advanced in years. Now it happened that while he was performing his priestly service before God in the appointed order of his division, according to the custom of priestly office, he was chosen by Lot to enter the temple of the Lord and burn incense. Wow, what a coincidence. It just happened to be his turn to be on the team, and he just happened to get his name drawn. Hey, guess what, Zach? You're the one who's going to go in the Holy of Holies today. And that was both a wonderful, awesome, and scary thing, because some people didn't come back alive. Sometimes the priest would go in there, they would have a bell tied around one leg, and they would have a rope tied around to the other leg. And if the bell stopped for long enough, they would drag you back out because they figured, okay, somehow he offended God, or he did something, he touched something he shouldn't have touched, or he had something in his life that we didn't know about, and we just drag him back out. So it was both an exciting time and a scary time. But here he and his wife, they loved God. They had committed their life to God, and they had no child. And they were sad about this. It was a sad thing. All right? So it's his turn. he happens to be the one who's going to go in there. The whole multitude of the people were in prayer outside at the hour of the incense offering. And the angel